The devil no longer quotes the scripture. It brandishes the liberal secular morality book and uses selected passages from it to vilify a major religion of the world and deny Hindus worldwide their place in the sun. These powerful forces, as it were, seek to cancel Hindu identity and stop the rise of India as a global economic and moral power of reckoning. They have gone out of their way to cripple the self-confidence and aspirations of Hindus in a changing world and reverse engineer to bring back the Kipling version of the Hindu as a submissive man who, when slapped on one cheek, humbly offers the other. Hi and welcome all to the CAA Show. My name is Juggi Bhasin. CAA is, of course, Conversations and Analysis. The so-called Global Conference on Dismantling Global Hindutva, beginning today in a Canadian university, is not a first of its kind initiative to discredit Hinduism on an international stage. It is really a culmination of the efforts of dark, powerful forces, both within India and abroad, and especially in academic circles in Western universities and the international media, to discredit Hinduism. The question to be asked is, why would some people be interested in demonizing a major religion of the world? The short answer is that when the ground begins to shift under one's feet, people, communities, and nations become desperate to hold on to straws from the past of an age and time that has long gone past. So, in the past, when India was a good old boy of the worldwide socialist club, supporting all the despots and communist tyrants worldwide and quasi-terrorist movements in the Middle East, mouthing secular, minority-appeasing inanities, even when the communal riots seared the country, everyone was happy. To many of these worthies then, India's moral order and place in the world was secure. Never mind the fact that India by and large was still hand to mouth. Never mind the fact that the entire Hindu community was made to feel the guilt of one crazed individual's act of assassinating Gandhi. Never mind the fact that when the Indian traveled abroad, he kept his head down and peppered his conversations with endless thank yous and so pleased kind sirs. In short, if the Indian behaved a bit like the bumbling, self-effacing, apologizing brown man in Peter Sellers' movie The Party, well, then it was all kosher. It also meant that a class of brown-skinned elite in the country took the place of their Western mentors to preach and guide the cattle class and enjoy the fruits of being at top of the food chain. This was, of course, what the brown man's Western counterpart had set out to do in the first place. Mouthing secular, progressive, anti-religious, anti-Hindu inanities meant being part of the club, which meant the best jobs in the civil services and the private sector, freebie trips abroad, juicy scholarships, and placements in the best universities. All that came your way and more. The world was a trickle-down effect. Some men and women at the top moralizing and throwing down tidbits to the masses below. All that changed when one man came on the scene, turned the existing order upside down and broke the wheel. Narendra Modi promised essentially the following to the people of India. He promised that India would sit at the high table in the community of nations and achieve a $5 trillion economy. He gave Hindus a chance to develop their identity and send a message that they no longer should feel ashamed of their Hindu heritage and practices. All hell broke loose as a brown elite fed on darbar politics and cornering all the goodies for themselves could not tolerate this. They hit back and went after both the man and the religion itself. They deployed the age-old Goebbelsian tactics of creating spurious narratives based on half-truths, outright lies, and repeating them again and again on social media and in academic circles. So, a Muslim bangle seller being ill-treated by right-wing nut jobs would become the story of the decade. But scores of both Hindus and Muslims killed in riots under a friendly political dispensation would just be a footnote in the narrative. Repeated amplification of half-truths and the widespread scale of the narration became the new mantra. The intellectual and physical dismantling of Hinduism by these forces is not particularly Modi specific. It is actually community specific. These forces have borrowed a page from the sordid history of Nazi Germany. The Jews pre-war were a quiet, hard-working, prosperous community. This was not palatable to Adolf Hitler, who wanted to distract people from the deep shortcomings of his Socialist Party policies. He wanted to weaponize Germany and create a militarist, no questions asked, fascist state. Something similar is happening today. The Taliban humiliation of the lone superpower has exposed the deep fault lines and dichotomy in what the West preaches and practices. Many powerful think tank corporations, activist groups, academia, and troublemakers of the George Soros variety in the West want to save the West the blushes of flawed policy making. It must be therefore at the cost of a community. And that is where Hinduism, Modi, and India come in. In a sense, these people oppose Hindutva because Hindutva is a Hindi word, and unlike Hinduism, which is an ism and an English word, and perhaps a bit like socialism and Marxism. In any case, for these people, how dare the colloquial Hindu, that once submissive, dark, curry-eating, smelly, diminutive Hindu raise his head and demand his place in the sun? How dare he sit on the high table with them? That, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, is really the nub of the problem. So, if you have liked this episode, please do subscribe to us. And on this note, it's a good night and cheers to all of you.